Let's continue our Origin preview thanks to Ford and Crawls. You think the Blues only have themselves to blame if they lose this one?
I asked Frank that question because I thought from the start of the game, in Game 2, you could see that the Blues went out there with a cockiness about them. Their discipline was very poor, despite all the criticism of the 8-0 penalty count and Ashley Klein being one-sided. The Blues had themselves to blame. And we saw in the second half how they came back. And they put all those points on when they played with discipline. So, on paper, they are clearly the best team. If you go through the two teams there and you picked your best fullback, your best wingers, your best centres, if we're being fair dinkum, New South Wales take all those spots. They take the halfback spot. They take one of the props at least. They probably take the back rowers and they take the lock. So there's 10 of the 13 on paper.
All right.
On paper, they are clearly the better team.
Yeah, if you're picking an Australian side, it'd be dominated by New South Wales players, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I want you to say no.
No, it wouldn't. But you know what? It's.
Come on, say it, Gordy. Come on.
You got to admit, on paper, New South Wales have a better side.
100%.
But it's not played on paper, and that's where we're lucky.
And Origin never has. Origin never has.
Never has been.
But that said, you know, I agree, Crawls. I thought it smacked of complacency in the first half there in Perth. They went into that game.
Just don't give Queensland a rap. They were really good, guys.
They were. I agree. I thought they were sensational, and the way that they held on was sensational. I think people aren't giving Queensland enough credit for that victory, and I think they go into the decider tomorrow with a lot more confidence than people sort of should be giving them credit for. New South Wales were the shortest price favourites in almost Origin betting history heading into Game 2 there. Just based on that team. I think it says a lot that regardless of what happens tomorrow night, each coach, Billy Slater and Laurie Daly, will get criticised or lauded for their selections. Laurie for keeping the team, not making any changes, not for bringing in Kolomatangi, and Billy has really thrown caution to the wind with the side that he's picked and the changes that he's made. And they're either going to both look like, or one's going to look like a genius and one's going to look like a dud.
Speculation and criticism comes with Origin, doesn't it? So I think both coaches... You reckon?
Yeah.
So both coaches...
Crawls has delivered most of it.
Hey.
Sorry. I'm kidding.
I think in fairness, when we go and look at the selections though, Kolomatangi probably did himself no favours in that final lead-up game. Yes. He probably made the decision for Laurie. So I think when Laurie named this team, it's probably what you expected. I think Billy has made some brave calls, but before the game, I'll go out there and say I think he's made the right call with Papali'i.
Okay.
I think he's a great decision, and it could be a massive motivation, and potentially it could lead them to victory.
Webby, a lot of people are split on this. The Nathan Cleary final frontier, winning an Origin decider as the number 7 for the Blues, which he hasn't done. Do you agree with that or not?
No, I don't. I don't think he's got anything to prove. But this game is in the final frontier. He's 27. He's probably got another 8 years of football left, you know. It's funny the narratives we spin in this game. I mean, the guy's won 3 Origins, he's won a World Cup. But I tell you what, though, if he wants to... I still don't... And this is the thing. The same questions are asked about Joey's place in history around the same age as Nathan is now. And I still think he's got a way to go. I know he's won 4 comps, and I'm not knocking him at all. I'm not bagging him. He's a champion player, and we all know that. But he's never won a Dally M, and he has to win if he wins an Origin decider, it really buries the argument in many ways. But he's still.
So it is his final frontier.
No.
Because what are you trying to say?
I'm not saying tomorrow night's his final frontier.
I think.
But if he's going to get to,
I wrote that again. So my reference there is that Webby, he's had great Origin moments.
Yes.
But as for owning the series, I think we're yet to see that. And while it's not a criticism at Nathan, at club level and in grand finals and in games throughout the season, he has absolutely dominated to prove himself as the game's best player. This is just the natural progression.
I still don't have him as up there with Joey. I don't have him up there with Joey, Wally and Cameron, you know?
Neither do I. But he's dominated grand finals.
He has. But he's got 8 years, at least 8 years to go in his career.
It's not the final frontier now, but it would be good to tick it off now. You know, and it would take him to another echelon in league.
It sort of buries the argument if he can.
It would bury the argument. I don't read into the Dally M's because, you know, there's so many good teams players in his team. They spread the points out.
Sure.
I think
But all
some
the great
years can
players
be.
have been judged of this, right? So there's certain boxes you tick. I remember Jonathan Thurston, because he won that grand final when he was really young. He had to go win another comp because then he started dominating Oregon. And then they said, oh, but he hasn't won a competition as captain and he hasn't led. So there's always boxes that you got to tick in
And
our
Joey
game.
had those memorable moments,
If
didn't
you
he,
want
with
to
the
sit on the
2005
shelf
series.
with the Andrew Johns and the Wally Lewises of the world, that's the shelf you sit on. Well, there's certain boxes that you have to
He's a
tick.
bees, you know what? I've been at this level,
Of course. He
does.
and alongside these immortals, he's not far away.
So
Splitting
maybe
hairs.
it is the final front.
We got
We're
him.
split-
You were right,
hairs.
Crawls. You were right. Don't listen to me.
All right, let's switch.
It's not a
front-
criticism, though, you know. It's
No,
not
I
a
get it,
criticism
I
of
get it, I
Nathan.
get it.
And
Yeah.
there's no question in the world for what he's achieved at 27 years of age. It's just astonishing.
Yes.
But,
Yes.
like Brace said, it's a chance to tick another
It is.
box, and it is the final frontier.
Oh,
So
let's-
thanks.
Thank you. You're right, Crawls. I'm wrong. You're right.
Let's switch
What would I
camps
know?
to the Maroons and Cameron Munster. It's been a horrible week. You know, there's no other way to put it. I suppose the challenge for him in this game is to harness all of that emotion and put it into his performance. You know, it's probably easier said than done, and I think the reality is it's going to be a challenge for him. If anyone can do it, it's Cameron. I think we all agree on that, especially for Queensland, and especially the reasons he's playing, which a lot of it would be for his family and his dad. But still, you know, it's going to be hard for him, isn't it, Gordy?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, you don't need motivation pulling on a State of Origin jersey for either state and being captain. So there were so many, you know, carrots in front of him to go out there and play and lead this side. But there's just another one. There's another bit of motivation or the spirit that sits on his shoulder that when he's there in a tough moment that he can lean on someone. But, yeah, like...
Can I say, as a New South Wales fan, seeing those images of him at the captain's run, smiling like that, it scares the shit out of me. Because I just think he's got the game of his... He had played one of the games of his life and his career in game 2. I'm expecting even more tomorrow night.
You'd know the makeup of his personality better than us, Braith, but he strikes you as that man who... You think back to Shane Warne, and he could handle turmoil off the field and then go on and just adapt. And Cameron strikes me as that sort of player that he almost plays off the top of his head, or he looks to play off the top of his head. And he goes out and plays what's in front of him. And it wouldn't shock you one bit if Cameron Munster goes out on the field on Wednesday night and walks off the best player.
Yeah, it wouldn't shock me either. And I think he's going to do great. So I'm wishing him all the best for tomorrow night. It's a unique situation that no one really finds themselves in, and I wish him all the very best.
How's it been for you, bro?
It's been tough because it was a shock, and I haven't been able to really see him. So I'm going to go to the game and go see him in the sheds. But it's been hard because I haven't really been. And I wanted to give him time for his family. You know, I can relate to it. I think a lot of us can who've been in a similar situation. So I know what he's going through, and it's been difficult, yeah. But he's a great bloke, you know, and he deserves all the best. So can't wait for tomorrow night to watch him play well.